Alright guys, we're just starting with surface area of prisms and cylinders. Hope you guys are all doing well on your extended break. We're just going to be working through this today. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. Feel free to email me at any time. So, lateral area is basically the area of the shape without the two bases. So if you find the area of all the sides without the bases, you have lateral area. So, in the case of a prism, the lateral area L is the area of the rectangle. Now we do have an equation just for L to find out the lateral area. So if we were to take the lateral area of all three of these, then we'd be able to find that lateral area. And as we can see, they're just rectangles here, similar to the rectangles that are on our prism in 3 dimensions. So you can either break these down into nets if you really want to. It takes a little bit more time. Or you can just find the area of each of these squares, each of these rectangles rather, and then add all those up together. Now, there is an easy way for us to do this. If we notice, they all have the same height. And I see that they all have different lengths based upon which side of the triangle they're on. In this case, it's a triangular prism. So, I just add all 3 of these, A, B, and C, and that gives me the total length, and multiply it by the height. So, our lateral area is equal to the height multiplied by the lengths A, B, and C in this case. Now, if we were to have, say, a cube or a rectangular prism, I'd have 4 of these instead. So it just depends on how many sides our base has, should depend on how many sides our nets have. So, we can also say our lateral area is equal to the perimeter, which is A plus B plus C, times the height of our prism. And that's one way for you guys to think about lateral area of prisms. As for the surface area is just the lateral area and the area of the base. Of course, we have 2 bases here, so that's where the 2b comes in. So just reading through this, the lateral area of a right prism with height h and perimeter p, again the perimeter is the length of the base, we add up all those sides to find the perimeter, that's equal to our lateral height. The surface area of a right prism with lateral area L, so again I'm just using L, substituting it in for this equation. Of course I can also use just P times H instead of L. With lateral area L and base area B, again, big B is the area of the base, the area of one of our 2 bases, is surface area is equal to lateral area plus 2 multiplied by the area of the base. Or another way that you can write it, S is equal to perimeter times height plus 2 times the area of our base. And again, the area of the base is whatever shape we're dealing with. In this case, it's a triangle. Sometimes it may be a rectangular prism. Sometimes it can even have 5 sides. It can be a polyhedron. So it just depends on what we're dealing with in these cases. So let's go ahead and try and find the lateral area and the surface area of each of these prisms. This is what you guys will see mainly in your homework tonight. Again, the homework will be online. I put it on Schoology for you guys, so you don't need to actually go through my HRW. So please feel free to use that. That is how you guys are going to get scored with this. So, if we look at this, each gift box is a right prism. Find the total amount of paper needed to wrap each gift box, not counting overlap. So we're not going to have any overlap on these. We wrap them perfectly, miraculously. So if we think about this, starting with letter A, this is a rectangular prism. As I can see, I have 2 rectangles. And then, so these 2 are my bases, and then I have height 12. So, if we're going to go ahead and find the surface area or the lateral area to get started with this, we'd have surface area is equal to lateral area plus 2 times our base, where L is equal to P times H. Now, if I look at this, we know from all of our polygons that opposite sides of a rectangular shape are congruent. So if this side over here is 6, then this side must also be 6 over here. If this side down here is 8, this side over here must be 8. So perimeter is just adding all of these together. Let me go ahead and redo that circle. Adding all these together is equal to our perimeter. So we have S is equal to 6 plus 8 plus 6 plus 8 plus 2 times the area of our base. Well, the area of our base is 6 times 8. I almost forgot to multiply this by height. Our height being 12. So I got 12 right here as well. So S is equal to 12 times, well, this is 14, plus 14 is 28, plus 2 times 6 times 8 being 48. And then solving for this, we find out that surface area is equal to 432 centimeters squared. Now, we have been dealing in the past, we have been dealing with the past with cubic measurements to the third power. However, this time we're finding area. So surface area, lateral area, these will be dealing in units cubed instead. Now, on to our second one. I'll go ahead and give you guys a chance to try this one out. And looking at this, we can see that we once again use the same formula. Surface area is equal to P times H plus 2B. Again, you can substitute an L in for pH if you'd like. Looking at this, this is a right triangle, so we can use Pythagorean's theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where 10 will be a, b will be 24, and c is what we're trying to find, which it turns out to be 26. From here, my perimeter is just adding all the sides together. 10 plus 24 plus 26 will give us 60. And then the height of our prism is 20, as we can see. So we just plug the 20 in for the H, plus 2. Well, this is a triangle, so our area for a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So we have 2 times 1/2, which of course will just cancel out for us, times our base 10 and our height 24. Now again, the base and the height in a right triangle, they must always be 90 degrees. And so this 10 and this 24, those are what make up the base and the height of the triangle. The 26 is in the height. It's called a slant height, as we'll find out in the next lesson, but we won't actually use these for prisms. So from there, 60 times 20 gives us 1,200. 10 times 24 gives us 240. Combining those gives us 1,440 inches squared. Now, again, make sure that you are labeling your units. In the homework, they'll already have this portion labeled for you, so you don't actually need to enter that in when you enter your answer. If you do, it'll count it wrong, but this will be included. Next, cylinders. So cylinders, we can think of these as having like a can. If you go to your pantry right now, hopefully you'll be able to find a can of something. If you were to take off the wrapper from that can, you'd actually find out that's just a really long rectangle. So this is how cylinders are made up. We have 2 bases, the top and the bottom of the cylinder, which are both circles. So we're going to use area of a circle, which, if we recall, area is equal to pi r squared on a circle. And we're going to have 2 of those. So this is also pi r squared down here. And then we remember this is the area of a rectangle, where the length is actually the circumference of a circle. That's actually really useful for us to know. So we can always use 2 pi times r for the circumference of our circle, or our length. And then the height being the height of the prism, as we can see right here, shown as well. Now, the lateral area within these shapes, within a cylinder, the lateral area will just be that rectangle that's going around. So this is just the lateral area here. Meanwhile, the surface area is both circles both the top and the bottom of our cylinder, as well as that lateral area. So lateral area can be found by using 2 pi r, which again is the circumference of a circle, times the height of the prism. And our surface area is just L, which again is 2 pi r times h, plus 2 times our base, which our base is pi r squared. So that's how we'll be able to use these to help us out in the next section. Again, I know that this is kind of in the way, but here it is again. S is equal to 2 pi r h plus 2 pi r squared. Example 2. So go ahead and try this one out on your own. I'll be working through it in just a second. If you need to pause the video, please feel free to pause. Each aluminum can is a right cylinder. So again, the can that you probably just grabbed from your pantry, hopefully you grabbed one by now, that is a right cylinder, meaning that it's not oblique, it's not leaning to the side or anything. It's straight up and down. It intersects at 90 degrees down there. So we have this can here, and we want to find the amount of paper needed for the can's label. Well, think about this. Would this be the lateral area, or would this be the surface area? Now, for a label, of course, that just goes around, so that would be our lateral area here. So we're just looking for L. Now, if we recall, L is equal to 2 pi r times h. Now, at this point, they're telling us we're going to round to the nearest tenth, so we are going to multiply by a pi on here. Now, in your homework, you're going to have your answer in inches cubed, meters cubed, whatever your answer is cubed. That gives you on the homework. You'll also be given pi on the homework. So each of your answers will already have pi filled in, and as well as the units. So you won't need to enter that in. You'll keep all your answers in terms of pi unless otherwise stated in the directions. So we know lateral area is equal to 2 pi times our radius, which is 3, and our height in this case is 9. So again, radius 3, height is 9. Again, this is just the circumference of the circle, so this is the distance around the circle. So that's what we're finding here, and then we're multiplying it by the height to get the whole area of this surface. So L is equal to, well, 9 times 3 is 27, times 2 is 54, pi. When we multiply these all together, we end up down here with 226.2 centimeters squared. Now, 54 pi was our label. We want to find out the amount for the label and the aluminum, my bad. So our label is 54 pi. Meanwhile, our aluminum is 72 pi centimeters squared, which is about 226.2 centimeters squared. As for 54 pi is about 169.6 centimeters squared. So again, we're in units squared this time. And this is our aluminum, this is our label. Example 3. This one's difficult. Take your time. Think hard on this. Find the surface area of the composite figure. Go ahead and try it out on your own. Just think, surface area is the area around the shape. It's just the area that's showing on the face of the surface. So, surface area is equal to the prism surface area. So this is a composite figure, 2 or more figures put together. So we're just attaching the cylinder on top of this rectangular prism. So I have surface is equal to the prism surface area, so the surface area of this prism here, plus the cylinder surface area, so this whole cylinder here, minus 2 times the area of one cylinder base. So if we see this, we have 2 cylinders here. The surface area is only the area that's showing, so this area down here with our cylinder does not count. It's not showing its face. We could argue that showing its face on top, but we'll just need to remember that we have to take this off. We've got to take off one of our bases. So go ahead and try this one out. should get for the prism, S is equal to 9 plus 4 plus 9 plus 4, the perimeter, times the height, which is 5, plus the surface area of our cylinder is 2 pi times our radius, 2, times our height, 3, plus, now we're only taking one of the bases, right? Well, we don't even need to take that. We just need to take off 2 of the bases. So minus 2 times the area of one base cylinder. Go ahead and get rid of that plus. So minus 2 of the area, pi r times 2 squared. The r is 2. 2 pi times 2 squared. We end up right over here. So we get, again, for the prism, the red prism that I outlined here, 26 times 5 plus 2 times 36. Again, that's the area of both of our bases here. And that'll give us 202. As for our purple cylinder, we have 2 pi rh plus 2 pi r squared. So that's the surface area of the entire cylinder. And then we also got to remember that the base is not showing. So when we do this, we end up with 2 pi times 2 times 3, and we get plus 12 pi. And again, the reason for that is because one of these is not showing, however, it's showing on top here. So we're just ignoring the bases. We're just finding the lateral area here. That way we don't need to subtract anything. So we just wanted the lateral area. And again, this is already covered with the prism here. So that 2 pi r squared is already covered with the prism because this part's over the top of the prism. It's still showing. This part's not showing, so we take it off. So again, all we're finding here is the lateral area. Now when we multiply this all out, 202 plus 12 times pi, you end up with about 239.7 centimeters squared. Oftentimes, all you're going to be rounding in your homework is to the 10th, so I'm going to try and keep consistent with that. Other than that, your homework tonight is 8.6 homework online. That will be due by the end of the week. I'm going to have loose deadlines with this, so just keep that in mind. Let me know if you have any issues. These are all posted on Schoology. So you got to go to Schoology, go to our class page, and in our class page, you're going to see online learning, quarter 4. And in there, you're going to find the 8.6 geometry homework. Right, it's probably right underneath this video. You're going to go ahead and work on those. I believe it's around about 13 problems or so. They're all very similar to this. Some of them are a little bit more difficult. I tried to ease them a little bit with like matching and things like that. So keep that in mind. I hope it helps you out. I hope this video helped you out. If you guys have any questions, just feel free to let me know at any time. Appreciate it, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Stay safe.